Hello. Today I'm going to discuss about the containers on Azure WebApps. Last session we discussed about the containers and the container registry. Yeah. Uh, this is the agenda for today. Azure App Services. Discussion tree. We can go through the what are the options for the compute options. Uh, which one we need to which option we need to pick in which scenario we can discuss, and why do you need containers for web app, because already container instance is there. Why do you and Azure Kubernetes is there, why do we need containers in a web app? We can discuss that topic, and there are few demos. Okay. Okay. Azure web app.
Hello guys. హలో వినబడుతుందా?
Yes.
ఓకే.
Okay. Azure App Service is a HTTP based service for hosting web application, web API, mobile app, or even function. It support the functional app and logic app for any kind of apps, mobile app, web app, and functional app. Web API, static web app. We need the app service plan. Currently, it is supporting the multi-languages, runtime, runtimes, .NET Core, Java, Ruby, Node.js, PHP, Python. It is a platform as a service. It will it is a managed version of a platform. Managed list of features with sophisticated features in Azure. We can go through one by one what are the features in Azure App Services. It will support the multi languages, as we discussed. It will support the, we'll see in the demo what are the languages are supporting. And we can manage the different environments by creating the slots. There is a option, there is a feature slots. We can create the development environment, we can create the staging environment and production environment. We can test the staging environment with the production data to divert the some of the traffic. And it is also support the containers, Docker support. Not only code deployment, it will support the containers. We can uh, scale up, and we can scale out. Virtually we can scale out, and horizontally we can scale out with for high availability. The main advantage of cloud, whenever we need we can scale, whenever we don't need we can scale in or scale down. It depends upon the situation, and we can reduce the cost. There is no demand, we can reduce the cost. We can scale down or scale in to reduce the cost, and it will support the it will virtual scale. We'll see what is the virtual scaling, what is the horizontal scaling in the coming session, coming slide or diagram. APA, it will support the APIs, web API, mobile features, and security. Azure level, resource level, it will support the RBAC security, role-based security, and it will support the OAuth authentication, for identity, OAuth authentication, and Azure Active Directory authentication, and it will support the serverless code for Azure function. It will support the serverless code. It will no need to maintain the infrastructure. No need to for web app and other things. We can log in into the infrastructure. We can see what are the configuration logs. But Azure function app, it's a completely serverless. It will be one serverless means we no need to maintain the infrastructure on behalf of us. Microsoft will maintain infrastructure. Any patches or any upgrades, Microsoft will do that. Integration with the Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. Yeah, so Visual Studio is a sophisticated IDE. We can integrate directly. We can publish the apps from Visual Studio. And at the same time, Visual Studio Code is a powerful open source IDE from Microsoft. It will support all the most of the languages, and we have the integration with the Visual Studio Code. We can directly publish the app from the Visual Studio Code. And DevOps integration. Suppose in Azure, we have the Azure Devops, and in the Git is a source control. We can use this Git, and we can build the code whenever user developer commit the code. We can push the code. Developer push the code, and a build will be triggered based on the GitHub actions. That is one thing. And even Azure also, we can maintain the build pipeline and release pipeline by using the Azure Devops. For resources, we can use the Azure resource manager, ARM templates. Staging slots. Already we discussed the staging slots. Who can see is a slot is nothing but the separate instance. It will create another instance. Parallelly, we can do the testing with the same without the downtime. We can swipe between staging and the production environment with zero downtime. And it will support the different pricing model for web apps. We will see mainly it is a basic, standard, and a premium. We can see what are those options in few seconds, few minutes. Yeah, we can go to the before. I think just a moment. Celine asked some question. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Suppose before cloud, we are building the applications in our virtual machines or on-premises desktops. We have the monolithic applications. Before containers, we have the monolithic applications. We have the layers, layers or tiers. Web, business layer, business tier, or data tier, or web tier. We are separating technically layer level, but but it's a entirely one application, one database, or entirely one application. We can use the multiple databases, but by using the web API or WCF, we can use the multiple databases for each service, but we cannot scale out. There are some constraints, but it is not always we need microservices. It is not always we need the event driven microservices. It depends upon our requirements. Main purpose of moving to the cloud to reduce the cost and uh, to maintain the business continuity. The application to maintain the high availability for availability of application. That is the main two things for moving to the cloud. Okay, first we can. This is diagram provided by the Microsoft architecture guide. uh, okay, we start. We have the application in the on premises. We are building, sorry, we are trying to migrate to the cloud. There are two options. One is we can directly lift and shift entire virtual machines. We can move to the cloud. That is a entire migration. There is a lift and shift. Current infrastructure moving to the cloud. Suppose there is another, we are building the new app. We are not moving, we are building the new app, or we are uh, re-architecturing existing app. We are not moving the entire virtual entire infrastructure. We are redesigning or uh, refactoring or refactoring the code and re architecturing, and we are uh, re-architecturing the code to support the cloud native the cloud native features. So in that scenario, there are multiple options. We can build that code in a virtual machine. We need the full control infrastructure. We need to maintain. We don't want to give it to the cloud provider. It's a complete. We need to maintain. Then we can go to the virtual machine option. Go to the. We can choose the virtual machine. We can build the applications in virtual machines, and we can deploy. Code in a virtual machine. Then suppose our it's a suppose there is a, it's not a we don't need the full control. We don't need we don't need to maintain the infrastructure. Then there is other options. HPC load, high performance compute workload. In that case, we need to choose the Azure batch. It will use the highly uh, compute virtual machines to perform the task. It will maintain, it won't design, it will maintain the worker nodes, and it will maintain the master, and it will be, suppose if it is it need more performance, it will be scale out internally. There is a, suppose we are not, it is not a high performance compute, it's a then there is a other option, microservices. It's a monolithic application or microservice architecture. Microservice architecture, then so suppose it is not a microservice architecture, then we can choose the app service. If so, if it is if it is not microservice, then we can choose the app service. If it is a microservice architecture, then we can choose several options. If it is a event driven workloads, suppose any event happened, any event happened on event uh, event grid, or a storage account, or service bus, then we can trigger. It's a distributed uh, architecture. then we can choose the Azure functions. No, it is not event driven compute. Then we can choose the one of these three these three services. What are these three services? Suppose we are using the containers, we don't need the orchestration. Orchestration means multiple containers working together. No, not orchestration means multiple things working together, working as a one thing. So that is a orchestration. So in this scenario, container orchestration means multiple containers working together as a cluster in the cluster. Suppose we can see those things in the coming session. What is the Azure Kubernetes? What is the service fabric? We can see in the coming session. In the container instance, we already go through in the previous session. Container instance, to run the containers from Azure Container Registry. Suppose we don't need the orchestration. We are choosing the container instance in that scenario. Suppose we need the container orchestration. There are with container orchestration, we will achieve some features: self-healing, and self scale out based on the situation. Suppose if one of the worker node is down, is not performing, it will maintain the load balancing. It will create the another node by himself. So it has some sophisticated features with container orchestration. But there are two options: service fabric and AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service Fabric. Suppose if it is a Microsoft native applications, then we can choose the service fabric. Most of the Microsoft applications or services, or even a SQL Server as well, it is implemented using service fabric. Suppose it is not Microsoft native application, then we can go for the Azure Kubernetes service. Even Microsoft applications also, even .NET or .NET native application, we can choose for Azure Kubernetes service. It will work. Azure Kubernetes is a open source production level orchestration system. It is initially implemented by the Google. Then now it is using a Azure, AWS. It will support in all the cloud providers, Okay, in this path we are, suppose if we are completely migrate to the Azure, or we are in the Azure, or we are using the cloud native applications. Okay, suppose we migrated existing infrastructure by using the lift and shift. Then there are some options. After migrating, there are some options where to deploy the code, how to deploy the code. There then is a cloud optimized. So here we are refactoring the code. Here we are re-architecturing the code, and here we are refactoring the code. Then it is same path. If it is a highly performance workload, then we can choose the Azure Batch, and if it is an event, without Microsoft. If it is a monolithic application, we can choose the app services. If it is a containers, if we can use the container instance. If it is an orchestration, we can use one of these two. Suppose it is not a cloud optimized, exact same code, then is a containerized. Yes, then we can choose the one of these two. And if it is not a fully orchestration, then we can choose the fully orchestration. It's not for fully orchestration, we can use the container instance or app services. So last time we discussed this path. Now today we are going to discuss about this path. Okay, and suppose we need the fully orchestration, then we can use the Azure Kubernetes. No, we don't need the container orchestration, then we can choose the one of these two. Virtual machines, we can directly deploy into the virtual machine. We need to maintain the infrastructure. Suppose if you are choosing app service, still if it is not containerized, directly we can deploy the code in the apps, sorry, by using app service plan, we can deploy into the uh, uh, Azure app in one of the Azure service, Azure web app, static web app, logic app, function app. Uh, who can deploy any Azure app service. Uh, this is the way, this is the flow or conditional requirement. Based on the requirement, we can choose the particular Azure service. It is not always we need the Azure Kubernetes. It's a, suppose our code is not not supporting the microservices architecture, then it is not good to go to the Azure Kubernetes or Service Fabric. Yeah, it has its own features or advanced features, self healing and scale out, self scale out, monitoring. It's good, but our application is not used by the many people. Uh, Only specific uh, targeted people from a specific region, then it is not required. Even there is no that much events happening, so it is not always go to the Azure functions. It depends upon the scenarios, depends upon the business requirement, or it completely depends upon the need. It's choosing the Azure service. If you are choosing highly performance Azure Kubernetes cluster, cost is more, but we are not using, we are not utilizing. It's a unnecessarily additional cost to the company. So it's a, yeah, there are some advantages for each service. Containerization, there are some advantages. Monolithic application is not bad, but there we are losing some features. If you are going to the cloud, we are losing some features. We'll see in the demo. Okay, we'll go to the demo. I think we will go to, yeah. Okay, before going to the demo, why do we need the containers? Actually, Azure Web App is there to deploy the code, and we have the container instance. Why do we need the containerization with the web app? Yeah, consistent deployment. If it is a container, Docker is a open source containerization runtime. It will support isolated system. If it runs in my machine, it will run everywhere, any system. We don't care whether it is a specific version is installed or not. We don't care. If you build the Docker image by using the Docker file, uh, what are the services are required, what are the components are required, what kind of OS file system is required. If you specify in that Docker file, then we can build the image, and we can uh, push the image to the one of the Docker registry, either Azure Container Registry or Docker Hub. If it is a public or private Docker Hub, or if you want to maintain the containers in Azure, we can push the container into the Azure Container Registry. We can pull the image and publish the image, or maybe we can not publish it, we can run the image. So that is a container running on the particular environment. So it's a complete isolated. If you works in one machine, it will work in any machine. And Azure app service or web app, it is supporting the limited language frameworks. As as we see in the previous slide, will support .NET, .NET Core, Ruby, PowerShell, Node.js, but and Python, but it won't support all the languages. So if you are using the Docker, Docker, we don't care. Just we can pull the image and run the image. That's it. We no need to worry about the what are the dependency framework, dependency packages. We no need to worry. Even operational team no need to worry. Just pull the image and run the image. That's it. Uh, and yeah, control for the framework version. Suppose our application is running specific runtime, uh, Node.js particular version, .NET Core particular version, .NET particular framework 4.5. Then we need to maintain. We need to select for each app service. Each app service we need to select the version. So app service plan will support only those kind of apps, either web app or functional app, those kind of apps which is running on particular version. But if you build the Docker, we no need to worry about the versioning, framework versioning. Just build the Docker image and run the image. Multiple container support. Web app service will not support multiple containers. Yes, I think yeah, it will support with the Docker Compose that is still in a preview version. Kubernetes, we can deploy the multiple containers. We will discuss why we need the multiple containers, because the life of the container is not a it's not like a virtual machine. It's not permanent. Easily dispose. It's easily dispose, and we can start very quickly. So there are some disadvantages with that one. But virtual machine, yeah, as long as it is, we can shut down virtual machine, but we cannot. Yeah, it's not like a virtual machine. uh, Docker images are easily disposable. Sorry, images are containers easily disposable. If it is a failed something, we can create the new instance instead of repairing or troubleshooting. We can create the new instance, but who will do that one? Web app. So the Kubernetes, in the Kubernetes there is a master node. In the master node will monitor, scheduler will monitor the all the worker nodes. We can discuss why you need the multiple containers, or how to solve self-healing mechanic, self-healing uh, by using Kubernetes. We can discuss in the coming technical session. Uh, Docker's Compose is also orchestrated mechanism from Docker, but it is not sophisticated like a Kubernetes. We will discuss both the things in coming session. Trigger deployment from the container registry. Just we can push the image to the container registry. Actually, there is a webhook in the container registry, in the repository. It will trigger. It will. We can call. We can register. Sorry, we can subscribe with that webhook. So whenever container pushed to the container registry, webhook will, whoever is subscribed to that container repository will notified, and new image will be pulled from the container registry. We will see in the demo. Yeah, we'll see. We'll go for the demo. Uh, mm, yeah. Whatever service we are going to create in Azure, we need the resource group first. So yeah, I can directly create the web app, but I am creating the component service by service. First, I'm creating the resource group. Go to the resource group. resource group is created. Then I will go to the app service plan. Before creating the any web app or a function app or a logic app, anything, we need the service plan. I'm going to create the app service plan. I'm going to create an app service plan. See, every service I need the subscription, so that is the reason I create the uh, resource group first, then app service plan. uh, Now I'm using the either Windows or Linux, but I'm choosing the Linux. East US, there is some service plans. uh, yeah, for dev it's a shared service shared plan. It's 1 GB F1 and B1. There are some features, memory, storage. If you change to the F1 to B1, there is some changes. It is supporting the domain, custom domain. It will support the custom domain and manual scale out, and it is providing the storage 10 GB and Azure compute units, some units. And if you go to the production, there are some options. This is the premium version. For me, I don't need the premium for demo. I'm choosing this standard version. In the standard also we have the different options. Standard, all three, S1, S2, S3 are standard versions. Standard pricing tier. Um, if you if you're choosing the standard tier, these are the features. If you go to the standard tier 2, it's the same kind of features, but instead of some memory, I think some features are increased. Some memory or some instances, auto scaling instances, some and some CPU time, storage is increasing. If you go to the S3, if you see what is the difference, 1 GB memory here, 1.5 1.75 GB memory here, 3.5 GB memory, all features are same, only memory is going to increase. And if you're going, if something is going to increase, cost is also going to increase. Okay. If it's a production, there are some more additional features. And uh, cost will be going to increase. There is other option, isolated. Advanced network is a completely isolated network, completely dedicated mission for scaling, scale out or scaling, scale out or scale up. It's a completely isolated environment, ASC. uh, I'm choosing as standard pricing model.
Hey, quick question.
Yeah, Sachin, you have any question?
Yeah. So can I go and select the dev/test, one of those, and go live with that? Or do I have to select the production to go to production? If you go to, yeah, can I use the B1 pricing tier?
Okay.
And then go to production basically?
Yeah, that is possible. Initially, we can choose the B1, then we can choose, then we can move it to the next. We can upgrade the pricing model. That is
Yeah,
possible.
but
Suppose
if I
initially, which that is your question.
yeah. So the question is, if I never want to go to a production, if I have something that is low volume, say per se, right?
Yeah.
So can I still use the dev or test this pricing tier And using this, I can go to production because my website or whatever doesn't have that much that load that needs a production pricing tier.
Yeah, actually, these versions we should not use for these two pricing tiers. We should not use for the production. Suppose if it's a production, we need to use this pricing tier. But
Okay, one of
any
these. Okay,
yeah,
makes sense.
only premium or standard. That is the only thing, and we can upgrade anytime. Not only creation time, after that also we can upgrade to any pricing tier to any pricing tier. That is not the constraint.
Got it.
Okay, okay, I'm choosing the standard.
Thank you.
What is that? Oh, okay. It is going to deploy. Let it be. I will explain something else. This is the in general we have the okay. This is the architecture we are following. If you maximize, we have the web tier, business tier, and data tier. We for in the production system, forget about Azure. Even in the production environment, we are maintaining the primary and secondary for load balancing, for the database availability. If primary is down, we'll switch to the disaster recovery. We can switch to the secondary. It's a same thing for the business tier. Also, we are maintaining the same thing. Even web tier, we are using the same thing. Forget about virtual machine. Normal physical machines in data center or wherever we deploy in the company. So instead of Azure Active Directory, we are maintain the Active Directory for Windows authentication. This is the infrastructure we are using for monolithic application. Suppose and this is in the front end we are using the reverse proxy, and we are using the some DNS custom domain, and we are hosting the application. This is the, and we are maintaining the for another location we are maintaining the secondary same kind of infrastructure for same kind of architecture we can use in the Azure also. For instead of uh, Active Directory, we can use the Azure Active Directory. uh, uh, there is a availability set, so any upgrades instead of normal machine we can use the virtual machine. We can use the instead of one we can use the three missions by using the availability set. So these three missions never go down for any upgrades. One of the mission is available, so it will use the load balancing. So load balancing will send the traffic to the one of the machine. So same kind of internally it's not this is not yeah, it's an application gateway. It's not, it is internally maintained the load balancing. Here this is a load balancing, internal load balancing. It is here we are deploying the business tier code into the virtual machines, but here we are managing the virtual machines. Here we are managing the infrastructure. But it is also possible we have the full control, but we are just replicating the current existing in topology to the into the Azure. Instead of Active Directory, we are using we are going to use Azure Active Directory. Instead of a physical machine, we are using the virtual machines. Instead of load balancing, we are using the Azure load balancer and availability set to maintain the business continuity. And this is the separate network by using the Azure virtual network, and this is separate virtual network. So suppose to maintain the business continuity without we need to maintain the same kind of a secondary, so we will decide that here we can use the traffic manager. Traffic manager will do the monitoring, health monitoring, health check, and which one is up, and it will send to the traffic to the primary. And who will log into this infrastructure? DevOps will log into the jump server, and they will after once they are logging into the jump server, they have the network, full network. They can access to Azure virtual networks. This is so we can replicate the same kind of topology in Azure also for monolithic applications. So, okay, coming to the there is a microservices. Why you need why you need the mm, microservices? What is the problem with the monolithic application? Suppose this is my diagram. I'm not, one moment. Um, yeah, this is suppose this is our code, business layer something. This is our code. It is having the multiple services, multiple functional layers, and even we are not, we can maintain, but it's very difficult. We can maintain the, suppose we have the some relational database, relational database SQL, some functional database is functional domain modules are suitable for is suitable for scale out for maybe NoSQL, MongoDB or Cosmos DB. We cannot use, we cannot mix the database. It's not easy to mix. We can still do that, but at the end we are deploying into the same kind of we need to use the three applications or three servers or two servers for data layer also. Suppose if you want to, if you separated this one, if you change something in the one module, we need to deploy all the modules, entire code, because it's a big solution, big solution. We need to deploy all the modules. Yeah, so suppose 4 people working on one module, other 4 people working on other module. Each release is a big deployment, big. Even there is no change, we need to push those DLLs, because there is a dependency. There is a common DLLs, there is a common components. There is a dependency. We need to push all the we need to create the new version. We need to push the things. Suppose for microservices, suppose we can split these things instead of once. Suppose if you want, suddenly there is a demand during the Black Friday or Christmas time. Many applications, there is a e-commerce applications like Amazon and Walmart or Costco. They more number of users are leveraging the application. Then that time they need more power. If you want to scale out, first option is, and this is our code. Then if you want to scale, there are two options. There are scale out or scale in. Yeah, scale in means if you see from basic tier to standard tier to premium tier, premium pricing tier, memory is going to increase. Memory or disk space, memory, CPU, units are going to increase. So it means only one machine we are increasing the memory. So that is not that is will not solve all the problems. We have more users utilizing the, so instead of one machine we need to deploy the multiple machines. Then we need to scale out. Then we can deploy the same thing into another machine. It will solve some problems, but still we need the load balancer. We need to maintain the load balancer, because some users are some users request is coming to the one computer, some users request is another computer. Next time we need to maintain the same kind of a session. There is some problems. Yeah, we can achieve with the load balancer and something scale out. First option is scale up, but that will not solve all the problems. We can scale out. Instead of one machine, we can deploy into the same kind of infrastructure into other machines. But then it's a but we can deploy, but each time Suppose this module is not prepared. We don't need this module for always. A user is using only specific module. Maybe there is a load on only specific module. Then we can scale out only particular thing. But even these things, all three modules are underutilized. We need to purchase another pricing model. We need to deploy into another machine, two machines. So it's not high cost wise. It's not effective. Then we can split the functional level. We can split instead of one function. Okay, we can split into the multiple functions, isolated thing. Then we can you can create the containers. This is the Docker container runtime. It will start the images, it will run the images, and it will use the databases. It will use the SQL database, something. But if it is event driven, it's a functional. You can use the Azure functions. If it is not event driven, if you want to complete sophisticated orchestrator. Suppose why you need orchestrator? If you scale out, it is not in one machine. This image, this instance is running in one machine. This instance is running in another machine. So we will maintain that one. We will maintain the. We will monitor those instances. If suddenly one instance is down, we will another. We will monitor and immediately deploy without downtime. Immediately replace with the another instance. We will do that. Azure orchestrator will do that. Either AKS or Amazon AKS. Sorry, Amazon Kubernetes service, or Azure Kubernetes service, or Azure Compose. Orchestrator will do that. So here in this option, we can use the multiple databases, graph database, SQL database, or Cosmos DB, MongoDB. It depends upon our function. We are completely decoupling the functional modules. There is no tightly coupled. One module is implemented maybe 10 years back. They started with SQL. That time Cosmos DB is not there, or MongoDB is not there. So now there is a. We can easily scale out a document DB, Cosmos DB, and MongoDB with low cost. Then we can implement the new modules based on the need. We can implement in Cosmos DB. It's a we have more flexibility. One the dedicated team working on this one. There is no dependency on each other, and each deployments are small deployments. So there are some advantages, but this depends upon the need. Always, it's not a good option to go to the Kubernetes. If there is a need, highly scalable, or we need to monitor self-healing, scale out, then we can choose for we can go for the orchestration. Okay, then I think my service plan is going to create. Then we can, okay, we'll switch to the demo. Okay, service plan is created. So we created the resource group and service plan. Then we are going to create the web app. I'm going to create the web app. Go to the marketplace. Okay, boom. Okay, marketplace is your web app. Okay, Azure App Service. I'm going to create the new app service. I have a resource group. This one. Azure web app. I'm going to create one web app. AzureTech. Okay. Instead of code, we already saw earlier code deployment. We are choosing Docker containers and Linux East US. Okay, then this is the Unix Linux plan. Okay, I think I created this one. App service plan standard tier. Okay, next Docker. Single container, multiple container. Docker compose. Suppose if it is a multiple containers, then I can choose the Docker compose. I'm choosing the I'm using the single container. Then there is a container registry. I can choose for this demo. I can choose the Docker Hub. Next, I can choose the Azure Container Registry, or you can. There is other option private registry, but I'm choosing the Docker Hub. There is a public repository, a public or private. Okay, image. I'm using. I'm not specifying anything. Uh, nginx. Okay, then next monitoring. I think in this feature, in this model, there is application inserts is not enabled. It's not allowed, not supported. Okay, next. Yeah, it is going to deploy. It will take 1 or 2 minutes. Then I will switch to the flow. Yeah, and now we have the we have the version control in the okay this uh, in the demo, in the current demo we are here. We deploy we only this two part. We first we created the service plan, a app service plan to run the web app, but we need the Docker image, so we pull the image from the Docker hub, one of the container registry. In the diagram it is showing Azure Container Registry, but in the demo we are pulling the image from the Docker hub. We are pulling the image from Docker hub. Then we can deploy into the by using the service plan features. We are deploying into the one of the it is going to deploy into one of the virtual machine, Linux operating system, and it will start the web app. So the only we are here. I'm going to explain all these things in the demo. So it is going to create. It is created. Okay, it's created. I will maximize. Okay, there are some features. It's a common feature. Activity log. All the what are the activities are happening on this service? We can see this is a common feature for all the services in Azure, and access control for this service, this app service. Who can access this service? So we have the uh, um, RBAC control. RBAC, we can enable role, we can create the roles, we can use the Active Directory, we can access this app service, and there is a tags for pricing. And if you go down, there is a deployment slots. There is a deployment slot. If you want, currently there is only one slot. There is a, yeah, it is tagged as a production, but it is not deployed in production. It is deployed. It is considered as a production. We can create the multiple slots. We can create now. So if you create the multiple slot, it will create the another instance. We can divert the 50% traffic to uh, production, 50% to maybe 80%, 20%. We can test the production data with the new version without going to the production, without pushing the latest code to the production. That is the feature of deployment slots. Without downtime, we can swap production as staging as production. We can swap between the slots. There is a container settings. now we are using the containers. Single container Docker Compose. Anyway, Docker Compose is in preview. This is for the multiple instances. I'm using the single container. I choose the Docker App. There is a Docker container registry. I can I think what it did, we have the log. Okay, if you choose the, if you see that what it is doing, it is using the Docker pull command to pull the image from it pull the public image nginx, and it deployed. It's very, and it deployed on the Linux. There is a webhook URL. We can use the webhook URL here uh, to continuous integration. We'll see the demo. This is one of the okay. Then authentication. If you enable the authentication, it will support all the OAuth authentication. What is it? Federated all the federated authentications. We can do the authentication, identity authentication uh, by using Azure Active Directory, um, Microsoft authentication, or Facebook, Google, Twitter, uh, okay, by using the token, or we can support the yeah. These are the built-in features. There is application insights. This is an excellent feature for monitoring or troubleshooting. It's a very useful for developers who is working on production. It's a very nice feature. Application insights. We'll go through in one of the next section. Identity. Okay, I will switch to the okay identity. There is some identity. Suppose this is working. This is suppose if you want to use the any key vault, we need the identity. Uh, System identity or user identity. We need to create the user identity to get the values or secrets from the key vault. And backups, it will maintain the backups. It is also based on the pricing tier. And custom domains. Okay, it is these all these features are built-in features for app service. We can create the custom domain, and it will support that SSL certificate network, any specific network, uh, and scale out and scale up. If you see scale up, it is showing the pricing model. Currently we are using this pricing tier. If you want to scale out, sorry, scale up, we are not creating another machine. We are not deploying into the other machine. We are increasing the memory on same machine. We are increasing the memory or CPU or disk space. We are increasing, but that will not scale up. Is always good. Always solve all the problems. So we need to deploy into the multiple nodes or multiple machines. Then we need to go to the scale out. We can do the demo how to scale out. Currently it deployed one instance on one machine. We can deploy the multiple instances. We can create the multiple instances. We can increase manually. We can increase instead of one. We can increase here and we can save it, or we can do it through PowerShell, or we can do it through Azure CLI. Just increase the number and we can save it. Then it will increase. Or we can custom. There is auto scale based on the some criteria, based on the some rules, scale out rules. Uh, Metrics. Suppose CPU time is more, CPU utilization is more than 70%, then scale out. If there is a default is this condition will work. If none of the scale out condition matches, then we can use this default scale out condition. But we can create the multiple scale out conditions. If CPU utilization more than this percentage or metric, specific metric percentage is reach the threshold value, then we can increase the one, or we can increase n number of, or we can decrease n number of. If it is less than threshold, we can reduce. We can for cleaning some cleaning jobs, we can create the web jobs also. We already saw that one in previous session. There are some plans, and if you want to change, there are some app service plan. This is the app service. In the app service plan, we can see what are the CPU utilization, memory, data in. Okay, these are the built-in features for app service. Okay, I'm going to the this is app service. Okay, where is that? Okay, no, still I'm in app service. Yeah, app service. Okay, home. Okay. Uh, it deployed. This is the our site. It's a plain website. It's a this is the instance of nginx. Uh, okay, then I can do that. I can change the image through PowerShell, or I can change the image from here also. The in normal in production we cannot change. We will not do that. This but still we can change it from here for a testing purpose, demo purpose, deployment. Where is containers? Container, yeah, container settings. Instead of nginx image, I want the WordPress. Before creating WordPress needs the MySQL. We can create the MySQL database. Uh, MySQL database. Okay. Hmm. Is it MySQL? Uh, MySQL single server. Uh, Resource group. Okay. This one. Okay. Uh, none. Okay. Is to use. Okay. Data source none. Okay. Version is okay. Fine. General purpose. Yeah. General purpose is fine. Basic also fine. Yeah. Uh, oh, clear. Okay. Everything's okay. Admin. I will create a admin user. Mm. I'm going to create. Okay. It will take some time. You can leverage the time. I will go to the. Okay. What in this one? What we are going to basically developers are going to work on one of the editor, Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, VS Code. Then they will push the code. They push the code. They can create they can create the image. They can create the Docker file. They can they can create the Docker instance, and everything is working. They can push the code, push the Docker file, and they push the code to the Git source control, one of the source control. Then some kind of a webhooks or some kind of a whenever code is pushed, either there are two ways. In the GitHub itself, there is a Git workflows. Recently, they introduced Git workflows, GitHub workflows is nothing but a workflow will be triggered based on the one of the actions, one of the sorry, on one of the GitHub actions, push, commit, pull request completed, issue is created. These are the GitHub actions. We can see what is the GitHub workflows. Then based on the GitHub actions, Git workflows will trigger. Otherwise, if we are not using the GitHub actions or GitHub workflows, in Azure Devops, there is a build pipeline or a release pipeline. In Azure Devops itself, there is a source control. We can use Git private repository, or if you're still using the GitHub repository, there is integration. If anything, there is integration between the in the marketplace. We can select the Azure Devops. There is integration between the GitHub repository and Azure Devops to create the build pipeline. We can create the build pipeline, and build pipeline. So whenever the user commit the code or pull request is completed, sorry, user commit the code and they push the code to the source control. Then there is a trigger to the workflows or build pipelines. So build pipeline will be complete, will do the build the code, and it will generate the build artifacts. We need some kind of a computer to build the code. So GitHub workflows or Azure DevOps will spin up the virtual machines based on the requirement. We need the Linux server, Ubuntu server. We need the CentOS Linux server, Debian, or Windows 10, Windows 2016. So based on the requirement, the definition on the YAML file, it will spin up the virtual machine, and it will run the jobs, and it will generate the output. Based on the output, release pipeline will trigger the build, but workflow will do the both things. Even we can do the both the things here, and a release pipeline do the continuous deployment. It will push the Docker image to the container registry, and whenever there is a hookup here one hookup, any action happen on Git, some actions are performing here. Any action happened here on a container registry. There is a hookup, some action will happen. So we need to refresh the Docker instance. So immediately, latest image instance will downloaded from the container registry and will run. And whatever we see the slots and all, that is the app service feature. This is the complete deployment workflow. Okay, I think deployment is Azure SQL. Sorry, MySQL deployment is done. Okay. Okay, now this is okay. Go to the app service. No, this is a SQL. Just a moment. App service. I'm going to container registry for demo purpose. Generally, we can push the image to the container registry or through release pipeline. Container settings. Instead of Nginx, I'm using WordPress. So what it is doing, it is, if you see, it is pulling the image. It's pulling the image. It is pulling the WordPress image. Okay, if you see that it is pulling the image WordPress, but WordPress need the SQL database. Go to the configuration. We need to define. We need to give the connection string and all. So those detail for those purpose, those things, we need to define the configuration settings. We need to define the app settings. Okay, app settings we can define in the configuration section. This is independent for each instance, say each slot. Either we can specify the each slot level, or if you are not using it, we no need to specify slot level. Okay. Okay, this is the DB host. DB, yeah, DB host. I need SQL instance. Portal.azure.com. SQL database. This is the one. I need this one. Okay. There is one more setting. I need to give the user. Now I specify the user server name. Then I need to specify the username. Username preset bin. I need to define the password. Another setting, app setting, password. Okay. Then save it. Continue. Overview. Browse. Now browse. Still it is showing is there is some caching. Is stop it. Yeah, actually this is browser cache, but because of browser cache, it is showing the same thing. I will switch to I will either I need to clear the cache, or I can. No, I think it's still up. It is showing this same thing. Just a moment. I think. Where is that? Yeah, encode. Yeah, it is going to server. Okay, it is taking time. Yeah. Okay. No. I think I'm able to see, but I think timeout because of more time. Just a moment. Uh, I will clear the cache. Just a moment. No, I don't want to lose cache. I know why it is not doing this one. Okay, connectivity active security. Actually, I need to enable the settings. Azure services. Uh, I need to allow Azure services. Then, okay, I don't need SSL. It's the same Azure service. Okay, database connection failed because of this firewall setting. Then I can go to the yeah, this file and web app refresh. Start. Then oh, mm, mm, mm. Yeah, it is working. Okay, do this one. Yeah, it's very WordPress is we can install WordPress or something. Continue. It will we can create the WordPress. Something password. Okay, let me install WordPress. Email is necessary. Okay. Anyway, login. WordPress is installed. Yeah. Now it is hosted. So coming to the slides, this is completed. Scaling out. We can scale out instances. Instead of one instance, we can scale out. I can switch to the command line. I already showed the app service how to do that. Okay, here. Okay. For this one, I need the resource group. I can define the resource group. I already log into the Azure, my subscription. by using user command line interface AZ login. Then I can create the plan. I can no need to create the plan, but I need the variable plan. And if there is a command, you can use the what is this default host name. Uh, yeah, tech. I think resource group name is wrong. Okay, I think I created this one. Still wrong. What is this group name? I can check plan name also. I think some plan name is also wrong. Service plan. Just a moment. I think that is not just. I think here I'm not using app name. App name, I don't have, I didn't define the app name. And dollar. Yeah, okay, good to go. Yeah, that is our default host name. Okay, then this is fine. Then we need to scale out. We need the plan name and resource group name. That's fine. Agent, app service plan. We are increasing the number of nodes, the number of worker nodes, to 1 to 3. It is increased. That is the manual scale out. Go already increased 1 to 3 increased. So this is done. So next one, next demo. Azure slots. We can create the slots, but before that, I can create the another app service. Azure slots. Just a moment. I will switch to my computer. Yeah, go to the command line interface. Uh, Earlier I created through portal. Now I will create from command line interface. I need the resource group. First, I need to create the resource group, but resource group, I'm going to use the existing resource group that is already there. So no need to create the resource group. Uh, Plan also already created. Web app, I need to create the web app. Uh, Web app. I'm using same plan instead of creating another plan. Just moment, I'm creating the same plan. App service plan. This is the one. No, app service. This is the plan. I'm using app service. App service plan and app name, web app, continuous integration app name. Okay, fine. Then I will create the web app. Yeah. Today I post one image from okay, I will do it. Before that, I have image in my locker. I will do it again. This is web app. I created last session also I created web app. In the web app, it's just one image. It's a normal .NET Core web app. ASP.NET Core web app. I push the by using the Docker file. I push the image. Run. It will run the image. It will create. If image doesn't exist, it will it will create the image and it will run the image in locally. Then I added some code from where it is using. So, okay, there is a normal web app. It is using the environment variable document environment. Okay, now I already showed in the last session. And go to the Visual Studio. There is a way directly we can publish. Publish. We can select the container registry. If you don't have, I already selected a container registry and publish. This is one way, or you can use the command line docker push, and we need to give the image name. Go to the command line interface. Maybe PowerShell or WSL. If you can use docker images, docker images, star web app. This is one web app. Okay, fine. I want to see. If you see, this is the image already pushed to the container registry. This is Azure Container Registry. Go to the portal. Last time we pushed this image in that last demo. Go to the Azure Container Registry. This is the container registry. We have repository. Where is the repositories? Replication repositories. We have repository. The last time Blazor app, we pushed the Blazor app and web app. We have web app. Today morning I pushed this one. If I will do it again, it's not a expensive thing. It's not. So it is not time taking thing. Just I publish. Or I can do it from command line. Okay, I will stop. No. Okay, fine. Uh, I will stop it and I will do it from command line. I like to do it from command line. Okay, now I have image. I need to push it. Uh, First of all, I need to log in into the Azure Container Registry, Azure ACR login. Okay, uh, ACR name. I think okay. I will do. I will give it uh, ACR. Yes, syntax is wrong. Name switch. Then it's login. Then we can see the username and password, and we can push it. Yeah, I can get the username and password. Uh, Login is succeed. This is to show the login server name. Yeah, no. Yeah, it is not showing because it's stored in the variable ACR login server. This is the server name. Okay, and the username. I need to store into username also. Username. Yeah, just to be sure. Just to be sure. ACR user. That is username. Fine. Password. Basically, what it is doing, I will show you. This this is the filter condition. Select. We are using the query. It will be pushing. Okay. Password. Okay. What it is doing? Just I will remove the query. You can. This is a command. It will show all the information. It's a JSON. If you mention the password, so it will go to the passwords. It's a array. It will pick the first value. Value. So if earlier I mentioned what is that, a username, password, is that, yeah, if it's a query username, it will go to the uh, array JSON object. It will look for the username property. Then it will fetch the value. If it is array, we need to specify the index. And if you know the name, you need to specify the name. If you it will transfer to the particular value, and it will display the value. Suppose I want to display all the password information. Suppose password 1, password 2. Anyway, this is demo application. Anyway, it will going to dispose. Suppose I want to display passwords. I'm display. Okay. Where is it? What's happening? Yeah. Just TSV means. Where is what I'm doing? Okay. Just I'm specifying the password and output TSV tab separated value. No, it's not 0. Oh, yeah. Then it will give the no, it's stored. I should not. What it does, uh, it Azure command line interface, it will connect to the it is trying to show the credentials JSON. It will try to get the credentials JSON, and it will get the passwords. It will fetch the passwords object, and we are using the TSV tab separator value. So it is displaying to the key value in a tab separator value. Okay, and that is not the demo. Just I'm explaining. We need to what are the images? Docker images. Okay, already image is created 4 hours back. I can create the image. I can push the image. Maybe I can create the image. Just a moment. I can image. I can create another image by using. It's a good experience. I need path. I have image, but I'm going to create image. Just. Oh, I think I have another shell. Yeah. Docker. Okay. First of all, what is there? ls. We have the Docker file. Docker build. Docker build -t. I'm using web app. Same name. I'm using the same name. Web app. No, it is not doing anything because I need to specify the file name. So I need Docker file name. I'm using in the period. It will look for the current directory Docker file. It is building the Docker image by using the Docker file. Okay. Then we need to create the tag. Nothing is there. Okay. Good. I can do it manually instead of name. I can do it. This is the Docker. Okay, I will clear it. Clear. Tag. Backup. Down. It's the latest image, and then I need to create the new tag. Web app latest. Web app. Web app latest. It's created. Docker images. Docker. It's created 2 minutes back. Now I will going to push. Now instead of pushing, I will do one thing. I will create the web app, new web app. Azure App. Yeah, okay. Then I can use to save the time. This one. Okay. Image name. It is going to create the one web app with the image web app. But I didn't specify the container registry. It is trying to pull from a Docker Hub, but that image doesn't available in a Docker Hub public repository. So after that I can change the container settings. Uh, it create the web app. Where is the browser? Web app. Okay. This is my group. New app service is created. Okay, go to the container registry, container settings, container settings, not the registry. It is trying to. I mentioned web app, but I didn't mention the container registry details. So it is looking for the Docker hub. It is looking. It is looking the image in the Docker hub, but it doesn't exist. It is still trying to pull it, but it doesn't exist. Okay, go to the configuration. I need to change the configuration. I need to change the container settings. I need to change the container settings. Uh, Azure Container Registry. I can through it. I can do it through command line as well. Web app config settings. But I can do it quickly. I can do it here. Both are same. Web app. I'm not using the I push the latest changes web app. Okay, I will switch to the container registry. Go to the web app. There is container registry. Yeah, this is a container registry. In the container registry, we have a repository. Here is repositories. In the repositories, we have web app. Okay, just now it pushed. Just now. Okay, go to the web app. Okay, a web app. Okay, latest. I'm not specific. Okay, latest. First is fine. Continuous deployment. As of now, I'm not specifying the any continuous deployment. Just I'm saving. It is trying to pull the image from the Docker registry, Azure Container Registry. So these are all operational work. We need to push it to Azure Devops or GitHub workflow, pushing the image, creating the image and downloading the image. Uh, we can move it to the operational. This is not the development work. We will build developer build the code and he will commit. After testing, his job is done. After this job is operational team. The operational team is responsible for building the image and pushing the image to the container registry. Then this is automatically it will trigger. So they will not do it manually. They can maintain the pipelines. They can create the pipeline and they can create the workflow and to build the image and they can push the image to the container registry. We can see that thing in few minutes. I don't know. Time is enough for today. We'll see how much you can leverage. So this image is published. Then mm, go to the view. Uh, okay. Yeah. So in my local it is showing development in Azure in the deployment, after deployment issuing production, I didn't specify anything. If I didn't specify, there is a .NET feature environment variables, it will pick the production value. Okay, this is one thing, and I can create the slot. So currently if you see that there is no slot, there is a deployment slots, there is no slots, there is only production. Now I can create the deployment slot from here, or I can create from I can create from the command line. I will go to the command line and I can create cl here web app deployment slot create resource group name and app name, and I'm specifying the configuration source for app name. So it will what it will do, it will this is the app name, so this will create by using this source it will create another instance. That name is that slot name is staging. It will take some time. So slot will be created, then I can set the environment variable in that slot. So we can see that which one is running. Okay. Just environment variable, where is that index? Go to the refresh. Yeah, slot is created. So currently 100 traffic, 100% traffic to production, 0% traffic to staging slot. Now I'm going to change the settings. I'm going to add the settings configuration. Okay, configuration. I'm going to add one configuration. I need the slot. This is slot. It will maintain slot level. Uh, then I'm defining stage. By default, okay. By default empty. Defaults. Okay. Uh, no, I think yeah. No, I think this is correct. Okay. Actually, go to the slots, deployment slot. No, cancel. Save. Continue. It will show slot level configuration. It is not showing. Okay, deployment. Configuration. Not able to see complete thing, complete view. Deployment is very slot deployment is no, not Docker image. This is I didn't create. Okay, I will create deployment to slot, environment, staging. Then go to the body of save. You can do it all the settings through to command line interface or partial. Okay, this is the staging side. Oh, this is a caching. Still, it is using cache. Yeah, refresh. It's picking the value from the staging. Now production is using environment variable. So basically, both slots its own configuration. You can set the configuration for a slot level. Okay, this is one thing, and we can enable the continuous integration uh, by using the webhook, and we can stop the session. Okay, go to the content. This is the web app service. There is a containerization settings. If you see that there is a webhook role, show URL. Uh, this is the copy. Oh, okay, I can do it from a command line instead of here. I can enable the continuous integration for staging continuous integration. Uh, okay, this is the webhook URL. If I want this one, I can mention same thing. It's a web deployment container show CDC URL. It will pick this value. In the query also I am mentioning the same thing. Okay. CI, yeah, fine. That is the webhook URL. Then we can register with the Azure Container Registry. Go to the container registry. I will show you. I will show in the portal. This is the container. This is the container registry. No, this is app service. Uh, this is container registry. This is a repository. There is a webhook. We can create the webhook. I can. I think okay. I will create another webhook. Here we need to specify that URL, service URL. Okay. Whatever it is giving, whatever it is showing, web deployment here container settings, here webhook URL. I'm doing. I will create the same thing. I will create the webhook through uh, uh, command line interface. I can create. I can do it from here also. Any push, any action push action happen, then it will trigger this. It will do the continuous integration. It will trigger the continuous integration workflow. So there is a webhook between the app service and uh, container registry. I will do it through web. I'm specifying the registry and webhook URL. This is the action. Exactly, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Location, everything same. Go to the. Then it will create. It created another webhook for content. This one. I'm refresh. Um, it is created. It is using cache. I will do it one more thing. Yeah, it is. I give the same thing, same name. That is the reason I will delete it. Maybe it's the same thing. It's created, but it's the same. I gave the same name. Deleted. I will do it again. Yeah. Okay. Then go to the portal. Yeah, it created. Now if I push the any change, I created. I will do one thing. I will go to the code. I will do some change. Go to the code. I will do one thing. Let's added some text. I will build it. Then I will go to the these all activities are develop operational activities. Go to the this thing. I will build the image. Is that I will build the image. Did I save? Yeah, it's saved. Okay. Build the image. It is publishing image. Yeah, we no need to do all these things. Visual Studio is all the tooling, so it will do. Just we can run it or publish it. It will do it. Or just commit. If you commit, it will pick the value. It will do it by GitHub workflow. We no need to do it for testing purpose. I'm sure for testing purpose we can do it. Developer can do it. Or now I'm showing as a demo. Okay. Now go to the container registry. Okay, build image is created. Now I'm creating another tag for container registry. Okay, it's very fast. Images. Just a minute ago, these two I created the image from Docker file. Then I changed. I created another tag. Okay, then there is a I think I have command just now push. Uh, I think I don't have. Okay, fine. Hmm. I think image, image name. No. Hmm. It won't work. I know. Hmm. Yeah, perfect. Uh, okay. Hmm. Yeah. Uh, this is image. Yeah. Okay. Then push docker push push authentication required. Okay, I think I need to do authentication again. Let's see. Ah, is current to push reference. Hmm. Ah, Docker. Yes. No, maybe I'm giving direct value. Uh, push latest. Push direct. Why it is giving this thing? Just a moment. I think something goes wrong. Succeeded. Yeah, it is. Yes, everything is good, good. Another list. Okay. Generally, we will do. I will do the same thing. I don't know. I will do it from here. Publish. I'm publishing the image, but it will do the it will do the same thing. Docker publish. You can see the same command. It is building, then it will publish. building image. Push the latest image. See, it does the same thing. Okay, we can go to the portal. I think it's almost 2:30. Okay, portal. Go to the. You can see this one continuous integration. I think it pull the latest image. Whenever we push the image and it pull the image and just now it's pulled. Go to the we can run the staging. Yeah, for demo. So basically we push the image to the Docker container registry, then it triggers the it notify the app service and it pull the image and it will run the image, latest image. Same thing we can quickly show in the Azure Devops. The Azure Devops we have the app. In the app we have the ARM template. ARM template. We have an ARM template. What are the resources are required? We can maintain in the ARM template, and we can maintain the YAML file. And okay, this is the ARM template for the registry. If you see that here, I have some nice view. This is the container registry for YAML file. This is the container registry. This is the web app. In the web app, what it is going to create Linux server form is a service plan and some web app and container registry. This container registry it is using container registry. This is container registry. This one. So go to the web app. Sorry, go to the DevOps DevOps pipeline. I'm not doing now. I will quickly explain what it will do. This is my DevOps. DevOps. This is container and web apps. Just morning I created. This is the pipeline. In the pipeline, what it will do, if you see the pipeline, okay, click on the pipeline. What it will do, edit pipeline. You can see all the tasks. What it is doing, it is creating the it is restoring all the packages. It is building the .NET application, and it is each task it is performing. I created the multiple tasks and it is publishing the test results, and then it is creating the image by using the Docker file and publishing the image to the Docker publishing the image. And this is the ARM template to copy the ARM files, but it is not deploying. So if you go to the build, you can see the output. I'm not showing now, I'm not running. We are already across the time. We will see the next time. Today morning I ran this one. What it will do? Oh, no, build pipeline. This one, there is a summary. You can see that what are the these are the jobs executed. These are the jobs. It pull the Ubuntu server, and it build the it download, it restore the packages and build the application. It copy the output to the specific release folder, and then it will create the image. This is the output. And after that, suppose release pipeline. If you go to the releases, release pipeline. In the release pipeline, go to the releases. This is a continuous deployment workflow pipeline. If in this one, if you go to the dev, we have the sorry. I think this one. Edit. We can see the all the jobs, all the one job, multiple tasks. This is one job, and we have multiple tasks. What it is doing, it is restoring the if by using the ARM template. It is trying to restore the uh, services. If your service is not there, it will create the service. If it is already exists, it won't create the service. ARM template. But by using it's an incremental type ARM template, it won't create the new one. It will, if it is already exist, it won't do anything. If it is not exist, it will create the new template, and after that it will deploy the new package by using the container registry. It will deploy the new package. Yeah, that's it for today. uh, thanks for the joining. Thanks.